Thank you. We'll now have an executive summary of the workshops. Mrs. Reed, please.
Thank you so much, President Gattuli. Earlier this evening, we were really were fortunate to have the Lee family join us, and it was really an overwhelming response. This whole boardroom was filled with parents and students. Gary Willems had a great school report, shared with us as their 5th year in a row of 100% PTA participation, which led him to spend the night in a tent on the roof of Lee Elementary School during the Camp Lee camp out. He had 3 great students join him at the mic, as well as we were graced with a wonderful performance of a patriotic song led by Mrs. McElderly and her student teacher.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, we're now going to go into the board president's report. And my report today is going to be basically all about LAIF. LAIF is our, in case you've been living under a rock, LAIF is our Los Alamitos Educational Foundation, and they are a true partner with our school district. We have, for years, we've been putting on the state of the district breakfast, and LAIF has taken over the running of it. And to this time, this year, it's going to be this coming Thursday, October 10th. And if you haven't gotten your tickets, I'm really sorry, because there are no more spaces available for breakfast on that morning. It's a very, in my opinion, a very joyful event. It's informative and inspiring, and it just makes, it's all about Los Al. So I really want to thank LAIF for their participation and support of this particular experience that we have. And on the lower part of the slide, it also has all of these people who are the generous sponsors that still make it available for us to go ahead and do something like this. Okay, now another wonderful thing that LAIF has done is that they have started for the last several years. They give innovation grants to individual staff members in Los Al. They have to write a grant. What do they need money for? How are they going to use that? How is it going to enhance their classroom? And so this year they have awarded the grants, and I love the fact that they do the grants early in the year so that the staff members, the teachers and administrators have time to actually implement them and use them in their classrooms, so our students benefit from these grants that they get from LAIF for the entire year. They gave over 50 individual grants. I'm assuming everyone here can read all the, this is in a sample of all the different grant application requests that went in and the ones that were awarded. But they had some personal favorites, is that they were supplies for makerspaces, which I refer to as our STEM lab in our elementary school. Lots of 3D printers. I think it'd be fun to have one. One of our teachers is getting a podcasting studio set up so that his students, and I'm just thinking, instead of doing a report, they can do a podcast. I mean, how 21st century is that? And then my other next favorite one was materials for a salsa garden for kindergartners. And I figure, well, yes, we'll get them to eat vegetables one way or the other. But I just really wanted to thank LAIF for doing this, and obviously the board of directors at LAIF, Carrie Logue, the executive director, and all of the people in our community that support the many different things that LAIF does for our schools. But they gave out almost $151,000 worth of grants to enhance what is happening in our students' classroom. Okay, now my next thing is, what do board members do? Right now, you guys should all be able to tell me what we do. But the one thing I wanted to talk about is, because I have heard this in the community for all the years I've been on the board, why do we so often have a 5-0 vote? Doesn't anyone have an independent thought what's wrong with all of these board members? And I just want you guys to think back on how I spoke about how we get so much information. We get weekend reviews, and if anybody, any board member ever has a question about anything, the question and the response to the question is always given to all 5 board members, so we all have the same information. If we have lots of questions, if there are several different questions about an item, then what will happen frequently is that Dr. Pulver may pull the item and say, we need to do a workshop on this. There isn't enough information out there. We're really not sure what we're doing. So by the time anything is on the agenda, whether it's on the consent, which are considered normal and usual in makeup, we have had lots of information about them. We know who we're having contacts with. We know we have to have We have to pay our utilities bills. We know these things. And on the action, some of them are legal requirements that we really don't have much wiggle room on. They're reports that we might receive from our staff. So before anything actually comes for a vote, we have vetted it as a group because we have this information, and if we have questions, they are always put forward. We have had things pulled and never brought back because it just isn't going to fly. We just, as a group, don't think this is what is important. And this can occur when you have 5 individuals sitting at a table whose focus is on the students, whose focus is what is best for kids. And I'm very proud to say that for years, I've been on boards where that is the LaSalle way. What can we do to improve the education for all of our students? So a 5-0 vote is really a good thing. It isn't because no one has ever read anything before and doesn't want to talk about it. Okay, that is my report, and I'm now going to hand this over to Joseph.
Good evening, Madam President Cattouli, esteemed board members, Dr. Pulver, and any community members watching in person or online. My name is Joseph Claypool, and I'm your student representative to the Board of Education from Los Alamitos High School. There's a tradition every year where clubs gather on campus to recruit as many others as possible. This event, of course, is called Club Rush. In order to create a club, students must first come up with an idea they want to represent and expand on our campus. Because of the amount of students with a broad range of ideas, there are around a total of 130 clubs on campus. For example, clubs like National Honor Society focus on academic achievement, while Second Chance Sports focus on repurposing used sports gear. Before Club Rush, students must prepare and advertise their clubs in order to draw crowds to their club booths. Additionally, clubs are required to fill out a form which contains the club's board positions, the club advisor, a teacher on campus, and their constitution, which highlights the purpose of the club's function. After all of this preparation, it pays off when hundreds of students swarm the area in front of the gym during lunch. Each club usually has a billboard of some kind which explains the purpose of the club and their social media links. In order to further entice students to join their club presidents will often give away gifts such as candy, shirts, and even snow cones if students decide to join their club. For my club specifically, I had a wheel which offered students to receive a t-shirt, but they did have to play me in the little game of pickleball and when to get the shirt. Club Rush is a great way to form new connections with other students and present unique ideas. Today, I'll be highlighting our high school's incredible student-run online newspaper, the Griffin Gazette. The Griffin Gazette continuously reports on school or community events, world news, and popular trends. The student-run organization is currently in its 3rd year of publication after the Griffin Chronicle dissolved due to COVID. However, in just 3 years, their site has won multiple awards from school newspapers online, like the Best of SNO, Site Excellence, Story Page Excellence, Audience Engagement, and Continuous Courage. The Griffin Gazette is currently run by Editor-in-Chief Bella Kim, along with 5 editors and 16 staff writers. Their task is to not only teach students how to write news articles, but to also help students with their professional communication, interviewing, photography, and marketing skills. A new addition from last year are the bi-weekly episodes that are broadcasted on YouTube. With this addition, Griffin Gazette is continuously collaborating with our high school's advanced film class, Focus Studios. This teamwork allows the opportunity to produce the best news videos while also fostering students' skills in script writing and field reporting. Their mission is to publish frequently updated news that affects both the school and the local community. They will continue to value accurate, ethical, and trustworthy methods of reporting in order to achieve unrestricted freedom of expression. The Griffin Gazette is another great example of how our students on campus can excel in many different areas. When do LaSalle students go loco? You guessed it, when our football team takes the field. Before game time, however, the team must go through relentless training and activities in order to be game ready. From Monday until Wednesday after school, the team practices with pads, focusing on intense 1v1 drills. The day before the game, usually Thursdays, the team has what is called a stress test day, where players and coaches go over game-like situations while also making sure that their plays are executed to perfection. Then comes game day. First, the team has a pre-game meal together, then afterwards, they all head to the locker rooms to get ready. Next, the team gathers in the gym in order to walk through important plays with a light jog pace. If the team is not playing at home, they will take another bus after they are done inside of the gym. Once they arrive on the field, the team continues to warm up, listening to music in order to relax before the game. Lastly, the whole team agrees that one of the best moments of the night is when they all run out of the Griffin Tunnel during the home games. The day after the game, the team meets up to review film, lift light weights, or undergo a session of Pilates. Sounds like a lot, right? Well, thankfully, the players have Sunday to take some time off and recover. Most of us get to enjoy the football games for the atmosphere in the stands, but this team and program puts in a considerable amount of work to perform at a high level. We are truly honored to have an elite football team that adds to the student experience and the school's excellence in athletics. Traditionally, our award-winning choir kicks off the year with their Broadway show. This year was no different with their theme of Roaring On, which captured historical musicals throughout the 20th century. From the first day of school, the whole choir begins to prepare for their show at the end of September. Every Tuesday and Thursday after school until 6 p.m., they work on their choreography, which is developed and taught by Kara Jennings. Choir also runs a mile behind the high school twice a week in order to keep their fitness levels up. This year, however, they were challenged with less time and only had 6 weeks to prepare, but with their collective, continuous effort, they put on a fantastic show. A week before their performance on Saturday and Wednesday, the whole choir had a total rehearsal, which lasted the entire day. For their total rehearsal, each choir is required to dress in their full costume and perform every single song. The total start to finish time of the performance was around 2 hours long, with sound effects performing the themes of The Great Gatsby, Hell's Kitchen, and The Outsiders. During their performance for each song, each choir has about 1 to 2 soloists singing. The Broadway show was a fantastic success this year. All the choirs hope to drive on the success by preparing for their next performance, the holiday show. If you have yet to come out to a choir show, it is an amazing experience that involves a large group of our students on campus working in insane unison and harmony. I hope to see you all there. After relentlessly advertising both the homecoming dance and game from ASB, the time finally came for both events to take place. It all started on Friday morning at school when voting opened for the homecoming nominees. The homecoming nominees typically advertise themselves on social media in order to have other students vote for them. Later that night, it would be time to reveal the 2 individuals that would receive the title of homecoming king or queen. Students showed up for the homecoming game against Sarah, where song, cheer, color guard, choir, and the band all performed. However, the main event came at halftime, where our homecoming king and queen was revealed. In the bottom left corner of the slide, you can see Troy Bejfus receiving his title of homecoming king, and Lexi Smith as homecoming queen. Jump 24 hours later, the homecoming dance is up and running at our own high school. The gates opened at 7 p.m. with just shy of 1,000 students pouring in. Students were able to enjoy a multitude of amenities, such as an in-and-out truck, a candy bar, a VR station, a photo booth, and of course, the dance floor in front of the PAC. Students were dressed in a semi-formal fashion while matching the theme of The Wizard of Oz. I am sure that the success of homecoming will drive even more students to attend future dances and sports games. Last but not least, let me shine a spotlight on an extraordinary senior who embodies all the traits of a Los Alamitos Griffin. Adam Impudia started out his journey as a student as a Hopkinton Husky. On campus, Adam is extremely dedicated to his 2 clubs, of which he is both the president of, Chess Club and Cash Flow Club. Adam started Cash Flow Club with an intent to increase awareness surrounding financial literacy to students on campus by having a series of prominent guest speakers, many of which who are successful entrepreneurs, some even students on campus. Additionally, he organizes his chess club in order to promote the game itself and have fun competitions on campus. Adam is also a member of GWAM, or Griffins with a Mission, where he supports any incoming freshmen. Although Adam is not enrolled in the class himself, he's a dedicated contributor to Griffin News, often helping them with experimenting or even coming up with new ideas. Adam also makes sure to show out his school spirit by attending as many football games and school dances with his friends. He is grateful for the opportunities this district has given him and will always be sure to carry on the qualities of Los Alamitos has bestowed on him. And with that, I would like to open the floor to any questions or comments from the board.
Mrs. Hill.
I have a quick question. So I have not heard of a dance being done in front of the PAC.
Yeah.
So that sounds really interesting. I love it, and I saw the big screen, and what a great area with the stairs and stuff. It was really fun.
Yes, I heard it. Unfortunately, I was not there to attend. I was out of town, but I did hear it was lots of fun. I remember my freshman year, we actually had homecoming in front of the PAC, but while the new building was being constructed, I remember it was still really fun, so I'm sure it was
that's
about
awesome.
the same.
Thank you very much.
Anything else? Yeah. Thank you so much, Joseph. I really appreciate all the updates. And so much is always happening on the campus at LaSalle. It is hard to keep track. So thank you so much for keeping us informed. Okay, we'll turn it over to our fearless leader, Dr. Polder.
Thank you, Madam President. Great job always in your board report. I love the focus on the 4 A's. It really gets to highlight a snapshot of academics, athletics, activities, and the arts, and 130 clubs. It's pretty impressive that our high school campus has, and it's really largely student driven. So tonight, I want to share a little bit on my superintendent's report. As I started sharing last year, a new program to really recognize our amazing employees who go above and beyond to support our students and this community. We call Rock Stars of the Month, and so HR does help organize this process where we really solicit feedback and input, and all of our employees throughout the district can nominate any employee for the Rock Star of the Month. And I'm pleased to recognize our employees of the month who we recognize for August. And we're just about ready to go out and surprise our Rock Stars of the Month for September, probably next week. But for August, David Anderson, who is our music teacher at Weaver Elementary and Rossmore Elementary, who just does a phenomenal job in everything that he does, always has that joy, the light, works amazing with our kids, and really gets to solicit amazing talent, but just has a passion for working with our youth. So it's neat to see that we were able to recognize him and over the numerous nominations that he'd received from others. And then Mrs. Yolanda Mortensen, who runs an amazing extended daycare program. We have before and after school childcare at all 6 of our elementary schools and our 2 middle schools to give parents an option to provide quality care for their students, for their kids, rather, I should say, before school from 6:30 in the morning, maybe 7 in the morning to 6 o'clock at night, and does a great job. It's been bursting at the seams, as I think in this economy, more parents have had to, both parents or single parents having to find more time in different jobs and having a greater need to find quality childcare. And so she's been working really hard. Our extended daycare team is a great team of individuals who support it. And so we just want to congratulate Mrs. Mortensen for being our August extended employee of the month. We do certificated and classified. And then I'm really proud. Last year, we had a student at the high school who initially sent me an email who had this interest of really seeing this traveling Anne Frank exhibit, and did a lot of research about what it would take to bring it here to Los Alamitos Unified. And so I directed her to work back at the school site with the principal and the administrative team at Los Alamitos High School. And through her tenacity and her willingness to really just make this a reality for our students, she had to get some of the funding as well, because it wasn't necessarily free. But tonight, it's unfortunate that it's during our board meeting, there's a community session. The community open house can really come take a look at the traveling Anne Frank exhibit. But really what it becomes is over the next 2 weeks is it'll be hosted at our high school for our students to really participate. And so the exhibit explores World War II, the Holocaust, Anne Frank's story, and other related themes. And as I shared, it was student-led and organized by a senior, Sydney Forsythe, and then obvious support from our high school and district administrative staff. But through this process, a team of 23 students get trained over 2 days, so yesterday and today. And so our students are becoming the docents and really training, and they'll lead other students through this exhibit. So they're going to give tours. Their covered topics that the docents will provide are in the history of World War II, the rise of Nazism, identity, discrimination, resistance, and helping others. And then the tours will be an opportunity for students to educate their peers about Anne Frank's story and really the broader historical context over the next 2 weeks, in which a lot of our social studies classes are signing up to participate in these. The social studies classes, the teachers will take them to the exhibit so that the docents can lead them through this. The community event, as I shared, is tonight, and really it's a culmination activity for the 23 students who got trained the last 2 days. They're going to be giving certificates for being the trained docents, and then they'll have a guest speaker from the Frida Writers Foundation as well, and so that's going on right now at Los Alamitos High School. And then again, our student docents will be able to provide this exhibit to our high school staff and students over the next 2 weeks. And so we're really pleased. And it really is all thanks to the idea of one student who wanted to make this possible for her community and for her school community. So hats off and to other adults helping make it that possible for her. And then I really wanted to share something that we have done over the last few years, which really came out of a task force that was trying to take a look at many different things. But how do we really launch our school year off with something that we call Peace Week, which is really about people exhibiting various characteristics to really just acceptance and care for individuals. And this came through early on. I think it was a bullying task force that we had several years ago, and teachers really came together. What could we do to provide more training, more opportunities for students of how to get along, how to help support individuals who feel isolated, make sure that they feel seen in a very different ways. And so a lot of different activities culminate into this week. And then what I love about it is our students at Los Alamitos High School, who run one of our career technical education pathways, which is film, and they call themselves Focus Studios. It really is a professional production. They wanted to really captivate what is Peace Week at our schools, what's the importance behind this, and they interviewed different students and staff. And so they really created this video that I thought I would share with all of you this evening. So thank you to our Focus Studios and to our students and staff who made this week possible and this video possible.
I am in 3rd grade. And Peace Week means to me it's the week of kindness, really. It's where we focus on kindness.
PEACE stands for People Exhibiting Appreciation and Compassion for Everyone.
During this week, we intentionally engage in activities and conversations that highlight the importance of treating one another with respect and understanding.
I think Peace Week means bringing people together,
Being positive.
It's a chance to show how kind we are. You try to be more kind than you always are, usually.
You be kind and surround the people that accept you for who you are.
You see somebody who's alone or you want to make a friend, you start with hello.
Start with hello is a core component of Peace Week. It reminds students that a simple hello can make a big difference. By reaching out to others, we break down barriers and create an environment where kindness and compassion can thrive. During Peace Week, we recognize that our differences are what make our community vibrant and diverse. By embracing these differences, we open the doors to greater acceptance and empathy.
The purpose of Peace Week is to promote school-wide positive behavior amongst students, staff, and also families.
It's a great way for people to find kind of where they feel comfortable and that they feel accepted and they belong, find some new friends, show compassion to others. It's a great way to find our differences and how we all are still alike, even though we have different things we're interested in.
If we didn't have Peace Week, I don't think we would focus on being kind to everybody.
It's important to include everyone and that everyone feels loved and that we are a community.
I like Peace Week because I really like to be kind and I like helping everybody.
The week celebrates what makes us unique. It helps us discover our similarities, build relationships, and learn how to manage conflict. Most importantly, we will learn how to create and maintain a safe and peaceful community. When we have an initiative like Peace Week, we always hope that the kids are really learning from it and gaining. And this week we had the perfect example of that. One day at lunch this week, me and another teacher were out observing students. We watched some boys walk up and join a student that was sitting all alone.
I'm Jameson. I'm Cameron. On Start With Hello Day, we saw new kids at the school. We wanted to sit with our new friend because he was sitting alone. When we sat down with him, that made me feel happy.
That's pretty magical to see. They did it without prompting, just because they wanted to. And then even more magical part, the boys did it, and then some girls looked, and the girls joined in too. So our friend who was sitting all alone, his teacher was worried. He'd been sitting alone for a few days, suddenly had a table full of friends. And the kids were asking him things like, what do you like to play at recess? Do you like Star Wars?
I want them to know about Angel, that he's a good person.
So that was just really magical to watch. It was a moment that we don't always catch, but we happen to be in the right place at the right time.
Here at LoSal USD, we believe that every day is an opportunity to make the world a little better. Peace Week reminds us just how powerful kindness, empathy, and compassion can be. Let's continue to carry the spirit of Peace Week throughout the entire year. Together, we can make a difference.
Happy Peace Week. Happy Peace Week.
Happy Peace Week.
So just a great way to really captivate a week. And I know the task force several years ago really thought about intentionally moving when we celebrate Peace Week, because it sometimes used to be tied with Red Ribbon Week or a few others, and really wanting to launch it earlier in the beginning of the school year to really kind of make this, set the tone. What we hope is to really create this tone of kindness and acceptance of individuals. And so thank you for enduring the credits, but we really wanted to give credit to all of the individuals who made this possible. So congratulations, and thank you, Focus Studios, and our amazing students who made this possible.
Thank you, Dr. Pulver. We're now on to board members' communication, and I'm going to start with Mr. Fayette.
Thank you, Madam President. Got a short one this week. I just want to do a shout out. The drama show is next week, the 17th through the 20th. The show is awesome. If you can, they start at 7 on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and there's also a matinee or 2 p.m. show on Saturday also. It's a great time. They do a fantastic job. It is The Lightning Thief, and if you're into having a good time on a very reasonable budget, it's worth it.
That was the shortest report you've ever given, and I can also add things to that list that I saw you at, but I won't. If you want to make it short and sweet, that's fine. Mrs. Davidson.
Feeling a little self-conscious now. So I just wanted to focus specifically on 2 areas of gratitude in the community and on our campuses. So the first I'd like to begin by acknowledging the powerful significance of all the incredible partnerships our district has with organizations in our community by focusing on just one of those partnerships. As a member of the Rotary Club, along with Dr. Pulver and Diana's husband, Randy, I see the value of collaborative endeavors. For example, I'd like to thank the district for providing the space for Rotary and other organizations participating in the suitcase packing project held on the city's during the city's Serve LaSalle Saturday. Foster children who find themselves forced to move from home to home, often carrying everything they own in a large garbage bag, were addressed in this particular event. This program provides suitcases, and we did 70, I believe, with surprises inside for these children as part of a larger effort to help them feel cared about and seen. Conversely, I want to thank Rotary Club for all the scholarships and Student of the Month recognitions, which Mr. Hill is running right now. This club provides to students of Los Alamitos and Cypress High Schools. These partnerships throughout Los Alamitos, Seal Beach, and Cypress, and there are so many of them, are treasured proof of how special it is to live in a community that unites for the good of everyone. The second group, it's basically our sites. Thank you to all our site administrators, teachers, and staff for welcoming us to walk through your classrooms across your campuses. It's most definitely one of the most joyful responsibilities board members have. As a former teacher in this district, I'm keenly aware that there's an element of stress to these visits. And I myself was always aware of every inch of the classroom, how my kids were going to behave, whether I was going to be nervous. It's a trying time, but it also is a time to show what your children are doing and what's going on in the classroom in a way that seems very honest and real. I would like to thank these teachers because they show incredible dedication, commitment, passion, and creativity. We get to witness it every time we walk through a classroom. As an educator, one way I knew a lesson was achieving its objectives was when students could articulate exactly what they're learning. Greatest fear, Dr. Pulver is going to walk up and say, "So what are you doing?" And the student looks up and says, "Nothing." "What are you supposed to be doing?" "Nothing." How they need to be able to articulate what they're learning, how they're learning it, and why it's important. The evidence that great instruction is taking place on all our campuses comes from the responses of students when I ask them these questions. Even the little ones, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, often working together in partnership, almost come out of their shoes explaining what they're doing and why. Older students articulate with pride the purpose of their work and the tools they are using to achieve objectives. They really understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. Everywhere I go, I see students deeply engaged in powerful learning. That happens when administrators, teachers, and staff embrace training, engage in collaboration, and never stop learning themselves. Thank you for the walkthroughs. They're very special moments in time for us. You all are professionals dedicated to every child in your classroom and every child on your campus. I'd also like to thank a very special person, Dr. Jerry Friedman, and his team for your incredible work keeping our campuses safe and our students well. Mrs. Hill and I are privileged to be part of the Safety and Wellness Committee. At our recent meeting, Dr. Friedman shared all that is currently being done in areas of campus safety, drug awareness, mental health, as well as plans for the future. These meetings often include law enforcement, mental health experts, and those with expertise in drug awareness programs. Dr. Friedman, we are truly grateful for your excellent leadership and tireless dedication. And finally, just a couple of really fun events. The choir performance, Stan and I love Broadway. We love the stage. And this summer we were able to go on a 10-day cruise in the Mediterranean. And what we said every single night was, "Nice show, but LaSalle would have been better." So I really, seriously, these are supposed to be professionals, and our jazz groups, our choirs, our drama would have all exceeded their expectations. And dance, absolutely. And so the choir performance, with 2 weeks less time to rehearse than they normally have, put on an incredible presentation that lit the hearts of everyone in the room. And then last night, we all got to go to the flag football game, which celebrated the seniors. These girls, they look so beautiful. Their faces were glowing, and they had their family alongside them as they came through the giant griffin and had what their accomplishments announced and what their dreams are. And really, it was just a wonderful celebration. Still don't totally understand flag football, but it was wonderful to watch. So I just really want to say that there's so many good things that we don't even know about. There's so many tentacles, so many arms to what happens in our district, in our community, and I feel very fortunate to serve on this board and to live in a community that cares so much about our families. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Davidson. Mr. Forehand.
Okay, I have shout outs to start my report. You've already seen the video Nicole and the kids put together on Peace Week, just fabulous, all the activities. And Meg mentioned the LAIF grants on innovation, $150,000 back to our teachers. I attended the SELPA meeting, which is the special education meeting, and it was great because James Strom, he's an adaptive PE teacher at McGaw, Lee, and Oak, and Weaver, was honored as the Employee of the Year for SELPA, so a shout out to him. I've had a chance to visit and read in all the CDC programs, and they have such a caring staff, and it's amazing what it's like to read aloud to a 3-year-old now. They have those kids coming earlier and earlier. Thank you for the Healthy Tech Habit assemblies. We've had them at the middle school, the high school, and we've had parent ed to go along with it. Shout out to the Oak PTA. They provide Lion Pride Awards once a month where you leave the room thinking the world is a better place because of these kids and these parents. And then a shout out to the Rossmore Homeowners Association. They have taken on grab-and-go lunches for Hopkinson, Lee, and we have Weaver to do, and Hopkinson actually this Friday. And their community newsletter all of a sudden is including everything about our school district. So that's been a real win. Marlis, you're right, the walks are incredible. And the Hopkinson, I went to Hopkinson and the high school, and I've asked kids over 4 years what you were doing. I have not had one kid say he didn't know what he was doing. And these are even the littlest one. Everybody get your orange on for October 16th, Anti-Bullying Day, where we're going to help kids continue to recognize bullying, respond to bullying, and to report it. That's on the 16th. Wear orange. And then I want to finish with leadership, because what I've been so impressed with is the leadership in this district, and we highlighted the principals, and you think about them. I've walked in their shoes, so I have the right to say this. They are incredible. Sleeping on the roof, I mean, come on. That goes over and above. And that, literally, yes, literally. And then I also have become so amazed about how we develop leadership roles in our kids. Because I had a chance to visit with the 5th grade leadership team at Rossmore, and they had helped put, with Amy Colte, the principal, a video that went with her morning announcements all about Peace Week. And the leadership kids at Oak and McAuliffe, the events they sponsor. I know McAuliffe is coming up with Breast Cancer Awareness Pink Day at lunch, where you can buy pink stuff, so that's great. I think, though, the Guam, I had a chance to go to Weaver, where the Guam Club led these workshops for all the 9th graders, and they're the leaders, and that's incredible. And then the clubs now, and Joseph mentioned 130 at the high school. I mean, they're pages. I asked Tina to give me the list of all the clubs. There's millions of them, and they're led by kids. And staff members step up and be the advisor to the club. So that's over and above their lunchtime, giving up. But a few of my favorites were the fishing club at Oak, so appealing to kids. We have inclusion ambassadors, at the high school. We have a badminton club. We have Olivia Rodrigo Club, a cardio club, a Dungeons and Dragons Club, and then the ones I most am interested in, of course, is the Kindness Club at the high school. And we have a Best Buddy Club. I think it's at McAuliffe, where they write letters to people that are very ill in support, giving them encouragement. Helping Hands Club, the American Red Cross Club, and the Interact Club, sponsored, I think, by Rotary, right? Yeah, which is great. So that concludes my report.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Hill.
Thank you very much, Madam President. You know, I have decided that this year in my board reports, I really want to tie things to our goals. And so our first goal is passionately pursue academic excellence for all students by providing unparalleled preparation for college and career success. And, you know, I think there's things that we do that people don't naturally see are tied to it. And so one thing I would say is our well spaces. And I think all of us know as adults that if we are not feeling our best self, that it's very hard to really be engaged and be doing our very best work. So that the work that our well spaces do are so very important to not only the mental health of our students, but also directly impact their academic success. And there's a lot of data to back that up. I also think connecting kids. I was at the flag football game for our women's flag football team, and John Hansen, who is one of our CTE teachers, we were just chatting, and he said that flag football has been so amazing that he's even seen some of his students that are playing flag football and in his class, how much more engaged they've come, how much it's strengthened their academics. So those are connections that people aren't always seeing when we do some of these activities. And then our third goal is fostering collaborative relationships and partnerships with students, families, staff, and community. And we've had some beautiful opportunities for that. And there was there's an amazingly generous and kind family, the Sethi family, who made us lunch. Some of the staff and the board made this beautiful Indian lunch, and we were able to sit and have community together. Also activities like walking to school with Rossmore had an opportunity to do that, and we had Orange County Fire, we had the sheriffs there, we had all kinds of parents and teachers and children, students. So it was really bringing community together. And then the last thing is, I have to say that I think that our superintendent, Dr. Pulver, is really one that does an amazing job of that. And he was our wonderful MC at our Heroes luncheon that was put on by the Los Alamitos Chamber of Commerce. And it just really shows what an incredible connector you are and what a servant leader you are. And I really appreciate that. That's it for me.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Hill. I'm not going to repeat what everybody said, so I'm just going to have my own little personal things that I did. One of my adjunct duties for this board is that I'm on the North Orange County Regional Occupation Program Board, which is a consortium. I keep repeating this because I never know if anyone's ever heard this before. It's a consortium of 5 school districts for career technical education. And I have 2, in my opinion, exciting things to report about what is happening at ROP. The Orange County Department of Ed has reached out to NOCROP to start to develop career technical education courses for the students who are in Access. Access is the program that the Orange County Department of Ed has for students who were expelled from their, let's be honest about it, they were expelled from their high schools. And so they are now taking them, and they have this program, Access. And I was thinking they've never had career technical education classes before. I'm not sure what direction we're going to go in. I do not know countywide how many students are in Access, but I was thinking you have these children, they are children, who have had challenges in their life and they're acting out and they're not happy and they're not productive and they're not succeeding. And because we can't do anything more with them, not just we, Los Al, but all of the districts in Orange County, there's special things you go through to support a child before they are expelled, and your supports aren't working. So this child needs more help. And so they end up going to Access. But I was thinking, like, they need success in their life. They need to see that they're good at something. And lots of times it's career technical ed where these children can see that I can build something, I can do something. They're interested in it. They'll have a caring adult with them. So we're just at the very beginning stages of it, but I thought it was a wonderful plan, and I'm glad that the county is going in this direction for those students from all of them across the county. And the other thing is that they used to have a lot of career technical ed for adults. And then after LCFF came in and the funding changed, and basically for regional occupation programs like this one, the funding for adult education just went away. They said, oh, the community colleges can do it. But that is not necessarily always true. So we have always had a very outstanding licensed vocational nurse program, which is I think it's 16 months long, and it is student paid, and you have to be 18 in order to be accepted into it. That's according to state law. And we just received notification that out of 423 LVN schools in the western region of the United States, I don't know, west of the Mississippi, I'm going with that because that's huge. Anyway, we were rated number 15. And that has to do with the number of kids who start the program and who graduate. And then actually they're 18, so they're not real kids. And the number of students who pass their LVN boards and can actually work as an LVN. And we're rebuilding that program also because COVID really killed it, because it's very hard during COVID when everybody had to stay home to get 1,500 hours of work in either a doctor's office or a hospital or a convalescent home. So we're rebuilding that, and we're looking for grants. And we're just really excited that while we're looking at this program as something that we need to do to work on to improve and attract more people, we're already receiving applications for it. So that was great. The only other really fun things that I have done that has not been mentioned is that I attended the Orange County School Boards Association fiscal seminar. Wasn't very enlightening because they still have not found that pot of gold at the rainbow. So it was, I guess it was a good update, but nothing really radically changed. So we did that. A PTA council meeting. And I do want to say that Scott and I did walk to school at McGaw. And right now, my grandsons are playing beach volleyball, which is a two-man volleyball. And it is now considered a CIF sport. And they're in they beat Mater Dei, so that's all I really cared about. Let's be honest here. Huntington killed us, but we killed Mater Dei, so it was okay. So we are doing that now, and that's just really fun to watch the kids play. Women's volleyball also has a beach volleyball time too, but right now we have women's volleyball is their season according to CIF, and the boys volleyball is in the spring, so they flip as far as the beach volleyball goes. It's also kind of hard because when you're playing beach, there's only 2 kids on each side. So it's a very limited number of participants. But as a relative of a couple of players, I think it's fabulous and I'm enjoying it. So anyway, that's it to my report. The next thing on the agenda is a recess because we usually break now to take pictures, but I don't think we need to take pictures. I'm fine. I don't need my picture taken. Okay, so now we will go on to the next item, which is our public comments. And I do need to read this before I call up the 2 people who put in cards. The board welcomes input from the public. This is the opportunity for community members to provide public comment to the board on agenda items or items not listed on the agenda. Persons wishing to address the board should complete a speaker request card prior to the start of each meeting. Each speaker is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Public comment is limited to a total of 30. Comment cards can be submitted to the district office anytime after 9 a.m. the day of the board meeting and will be accepted until the start of the board meeting at 6 p.m. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another. When addressing the board, speakers are requested to address the board from the podium, state their name, and adhere to the time limits. The board may not take any action or discuss any item not appearing on the posted agenda and cannot immediately respond to public comments. Speakers are cautioned that under California law, no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments regarding any person simply because these comments were made at a public meeting. Okay, I would now like to call Stephanie Tellis to the podium. Thank you.
Good evening, school board members and district admin. My name is Stephanie Tejas. I'm here tonight as a parent of 2 boys who play football for Los Alamitos High School. My freshman is playing for the first time ever. I don't know why he wanted to. He's had a wonderful experience under Coach Farley. My sophomore's played on varsity since he was a freshman, has also had a wonderful experience. Little did I realize that becoming a high school football mom meant volunteering by choice on a weekly basis. I have spent hours this season watching practices, setting up snack shacks, creating flyers, volunteering my husband to help set up at every varsity game, and getting to know other parents. The boosters have been amazing. I've learned very quickly just how expensive it is to have a robust student-centered football team. The team fundraises as much as possible. This year we were forced into a different league, which has negatively impacted the football program. It is now challenging and extremely costly to find teams to play for our boys. We have hosted a team from Hawaii, been to Clovis and San Diego just to give our boys an opportunity to play a sufficient number of games this year because there are not enough other teams in our league willing to play us. Our JV team has had several games canceled since being moved into this new league. Freshmen have had 1 game canceled, and this would continue next season if we're forced to stay in this league. It will require the boosters to cover transportation costs to possibly play teams further away in order to give all the boys on each team an adequate number of games to play. For the first time ever, we have been able to host home games at the high school. That came with challenges that will hopefully be worked out in the off season so that we may continue to host. The games brought in thousands of dollars in ticket sales and parking money. I was recently informed that the high school received all the proceeds brought in for each game for ticket sales and parking. I'm asking for transparency as to why the funds are not invested back into the program. And if I'm incorrect, how was that money invested back into the program? Parents talk, and ensuring we all have the accurate information becomes the responsibility of the school site admin, who could work with the booster president to provide that information. All 3 of my children have run track or will run track this upcoming season at Los Al. When track hosts Saturday meets and charges a fee to enter, the money is given back to track to invest back into the program. Why treat football any differently? I understand there's probably more information parents are not privy to, and perhaps there is a rationale, but there has been no transparency or communication provided as of today that I'm aware of. I'm asking that this board require the high school to provide a public rationale as to why football does not get to keep the money they bring in for home games, and moving forward, consider the importance of financial transparency. Thank you. And since I have a couple seconds, I will tell you it's been a great season as far as the amount of work these kids put in. It's been tough, but it cost $20,000 out of booster money to go play Clovis. That's a lot of money. Anything you can do to help us fix this league situation, I know the coaches would appreciate. I'm not here speaking for them, but knowing all of this, they're limited in what they can and can't say. And so as parents, we've really been talking about the negative impact, and it's just not fair to our kids. So hopefully there's something we can all come together as a community and try and get this fixed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, and our next speaker is Matt Bragman.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Pulver, and the entire leadership team. I'm going to continue with some of the gratitude that we already talked about. My name is Matt Bragman. I'm the proud father of a 5th grader at McGaw, where I'm also in the school site council. I'm a former teacher and principal, and I'm excited to be running for Area 5 on our school board during this upcoming election. Today, I'm here to honor and thank our amazing leaders at our 9 school sites for all that they are doing in service of our students, staff, parents, families, and community. Having been a principal, I know firsthand the selfless dedication that our school leaders put into their work each and every day. The long days, the sacrifice, and commitment it takes to lead a school, and I cannot thank our principals enough for all they do for our schools and community. Former Secretary of Education Arne Duncan once said, "There are no schools without good principals. It just doesn't exist. Where you have good principals, great teachers come and they stay. They work hard and they grow. In this district, we don't have good principals. We have great principals." October has been recognized as National Principals Month by the American Federation of School Administrators. I'm honored to stand before you today to recognize and thank our principals for their commitment to our district. Los Alamitos is a district that other leaders look to for inspiration, for innovation, for best practices, to replicate everything we do. Families choose this district, like mine, due to its excellence in academics, arts, athletics, and support for the whole child. It's our 4 A's. Our great success as a district is a reflection of the commitment and leadership our principals provide. I hope that we'll take time today and every day to thank our district staff, from the instructional aides, custodial staff, food service workers, teachers, counselors, and countless others for the role they play in making this district one of a kind. It truly takes a village, and we're lucky to have leaders who guide us to reach great heights. Today, I'm honored to celebrate National Principals Month and take a moment to especially recognize our principals. They're not here, but I think it's important to call them out by name. So I want to thank Mr. Farver, Ms. Padilla, Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Willems, Ms. Wood, Mr. Quartermarsh, Ms. Kraus, Ms. Colte, Ms. Garcia, and all of you for supporting them. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Okay, we are now on to our...
Madam President, if you mind, I know you can't comment, but I would like to give some comments to a couple of the speakers today. So thank you for talking about the football program. It is a great program. Most of our programs would not be possible without the really strong partnerships with our parents and our boosters. We too are extremely frustrated with CIF and the football-only league. If they want to have a football-only league because of the caliber of a football team, no problem, but at least let it be a league of 7 teams, 8 teams, as opposed to 4, because we are having extreme difficulty trying to get other schools to be able to play us. And so we do plan to continue to bring our fight to CIF. We're 1 vote, unfortunately, because they only give each high school a vote. And then we were fortunate enough to be able to bring a couple of our home games to our high school this year. And I'll ask Mrs. Reed to share a little bit about that cost. And we can absolutely help support the high school to be able to help communicate better, because we too are having feeling the financial impact of this league that CIF has forced us into for football.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pulver. Football is such a challenging topic because it's such a love for our community, and we don't have a huge stadium. And just to be transparent, when we host a home game, we actually lose money. So we're roughly about a $10,000 loss per home game after all the bills are paid, and that includes taking in the ticket sales. And so when we bring in a home game, we have to rent all of the extra bleachers, we have to bring security. And so what we bring in, ticket sales and parking, doesn't match to what the bills are going out. So it would be lovely if there was a different situation and, we had a larger venue that we didn't have to rent and provide items for. When we host at Westminster High School or Veterans Stadium, we also have bills to pay that come with that. And at our best games, we break even when we are away. And at our larger games, we are at a loss because with more visitors requires more staffing and more security presence that we have to hire, which is amazing, right? We love getting such our first game of the year, it's 1,600 students. Of closer to 3,000 person high school. So it's amazing that many kids come out, but there's additional cost that comes with managing all of that. We would not be able to do any of this work without the football boosters. That's an amazing program. I happen to have a freshman playing football as well, and it's been just an amazing season, and what those parents do is next level, like most of our boosters. And so I would offer at any time to come to a booster meeting and share what the costs are per football game, show very transparently what we have coming in the gate, because it's all electronic through GoFan with tickets so that people can, parents can get a better idea of exactly what it costs for us to play football. We are equally as frustrated with the football situation, and we tried very hard and united with some other school districts to try to stop that league from forming. Dr. Pulver and I actually just had a conversation last week about meeting with CIF to look at what our next course of action could be, because it's not only tolling on our football families, but it's also very tolling on our Griff fans, because it's very hard for our high school students to travel all the way to San Clemente, Mission Viejo. So it kind of, for many of them, loses part of the football experience. I know for our varsity athletes, part of the experience of having that large Griffin section, cheering them on from the sidelines as well. So we're definitely dedicated to meeting parents and being transparent. So I will reach out to the Football Booster president and make that space available.
And then on the other matter, I just wanted to thank Mr. Bragman for coming and talking about our amazing administrators. Thank you. What we do in our district, because there's a different month for almost every level of employee, classified speech therapist, school nurse, counselors, teacher, et cetera. So what our district has done in the past is, but the month of May is really the celebration of all of our employees. So we as the board pass resolutions to honor and recognize them, and then we go out to school sites and find different ways to celebrate them. But I love that you came and supported our administrators as well. So thank you for doing that.
Okay, we're now on to the consent portion of the board meeting. These are the items that are usual and customary in nature, and I have no notification of any pulls. So I'll be looking for a motion for consent items 10A through AB.
I so move.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries 5-0. We're now on to our action items, and the first one is a resolution to approve the PARS Supplementary Retirement Plan incentive offer for eligible employees and the associated PARS agreement for administrative service. And Dr. Weiss-Wright will speak to this first.
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, tonight we are bringing forward the agreement with PARS. PARS is our public agency retirement services that have crafted a plan for eligible employees that will be a supplemental retirement program. With your approval, it will open a window for employees to indicate their intent to retire with the district, and a supplemental 70% annuity that will come with that retirement. The deadline will be in January, at which point we will engage with PARS to analyze if the employees who have submitted for retirement will meet the district's fiscal and operational objectives, and be able to move forward with whether or not we're able to implement that plan after that.
Okay, great. This is just to put the information out there to see what kind of a response we get. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we can actually only do this where we offer an early retirement incentive once every 5 years.
Correct. So it's very limited, the opportunities to present it. And so it's not something that can happen back-to-back years. It's about every 5 that would be viable.
Right. And we can only do this if it is financially beneficial to the school district's bottom line. And I know that Mrs. Schnur will make sure of that. Yeah. Are there any, may I have a motion?
I'll second.
Does anyone have any further discussion or questions? Okay, this is roll call.
Mr. Fayed? Mrs. Davidson? Ms. Cattouli?
Aye.
Mr. Forehand? Mrs. Hill?
Aye.
Okay, we're now on to our second reading and approval of revised board policy 1330.
Just for point of clarification, typically we have to say motion passes.
Oh, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
I just get too efficient.
I know, but for the public, it's important
I'm
to
moving this
have that.
meeting along whether it wants to go or not. Thank you for catching me. One of these, I don't know. I was going to say one of these days I will actually do a board meeting without making a mistake, but I don't think that's in the cards. So, yeah. It takes a village to run a board meeting. I have 2 more chances, but if I haven't done it so far, that's, yeah. The best prediction of the future is history. Okay, second reading and approval for the board policy for school facilities. Mrs. Schnur.
Thank you, Madam President. We are bringing forward for second reading and approval our revised board policy 1330. We've only made very small changes from the first reading, really only adding ed code numbers and striking out some certain areas that are optional.
Okay, great. Thank you. May I have a motion, please? Okay, are there any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Then we have approval of first reading of revised board policies 4112.9, 4212.9, 4312.9, which were, yeah, say that 10 times fast. These are different in classifications for employee notification. Dr. Weiswright, please speak to that.
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, tonight we're bringing forward a first reading of those board policies. The 3 different policies of employee notifications are for our 3 different groups: classified, certificated, and those that are not represented. And this is just updating the notifications that we will provide employees with our current practices in line with the recommendations from CSBA.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Then we have reading on more board policies, which are for, I'm not even going to read them, for temporary athletic coaches. They're all policies that are related in ETCO, and I'd be happy to give you the numbers anytime you want. Dr. Weiswright.
Thank you. Yes. Similarly, this is for updated with in alignment with our current practices, with the trainings that we require for our athletic coaches, and it's updated in accordance with the CSBA policy sheet guidelines.
Okay, great. Thank you. May I have a motion? Thank you. Any discussion? Yes.
In alignment with what you were saying, board duties, in alignment with what you shared about board duties, we all got these policies for the whole entire policy, so we've had the opportunity to read them.
Right. And habitually, if you follow us on YouTube, we update our policies frequently, and the reason why we do that is because there are changes either within the EG code or new laws have been passed, and then we need to make our policies current with the new laws and the new EG codes. And we're helped through this through the California School Boards Association, who has people who spend their days reading ED code and letting us know when we need to be more up to date. All right, so we have a first, a second, and we discussed it. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And now I'm on the approval of first reading of the absences and excuses. Dr. Weiswright.
Yes, thank you. Tonight we're bringing forward a first reading of updated board policy regarding student absences and excuses. This updates the verbiage to include mental health as a reason for an excused absence. The update also increases the number of days to be excused for attendance at a funeral of an immediate family member and provides a broader definition of what is immediate family.
Okay. May I have a motion?
Awesome. I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Then we have approval of first reading of our revised board policy for discipline. And Dr. Weiswright.
Thank you again. Yes, this board policy on discipline includes updates to the verbiage to encourage the use of restorative practices, which are already in place at all of our schools, to require other means of correction prior to suspension, and to refrain from taking away students' recess as a form of punishment. The updates align with the district's current practices.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Now we're on to acceptance of a bid for the approval of agreement with Keystone Builders for the renovation of restrooms in the STEM building at the high school. Mrs. Schnur.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. We are bringing forward the approval for Keystone Builders. They were the lowest responsible bidder. We did go out twice to bid this project to ensure that we are getting the best pricing, and we are. These are for the restrooms in the second and third floor, staff restrooms at the STEM building.
Yeah, this was after the STEM building was up and running, and we discovered the staff discovered that we needed to make an addition. Okay, may I have a motion, please? Okay, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And now we're on to a resolution supporting Red Ribbon Week. I love being say that 10 times fast. And Dr. Weiswright, would you like to speak to that?
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam President. I believe everybody's gotten their Red Ribbon Week wristbands. So Red Ribbon Week is October 21st through October 25th. The district recognizes this week every year and demonstrates its commitment to a drug-free and healthy society. Schools participate in various activities promoting Red Ribbon Week that entire week.
Okay, thank you. And because my personal feeling is that if we're going to do a resolution, we should read at least part of it. If we're taking this much time in a meeting to say it's important to us and we support it. So Mrs. Hill is going to read part of the resolution, which will be the motion also.
Thank you very much. It's my honor. Whereas alcohol and drug abuse has continued to be in epic stages in the United States, and whereas it is imperative that community members launch visible substance abuse prevention efforts to reduce the demand for illegal drugs, alcohol, and tobacco. Whereas in 1988, Congress proclaimed the first National Red Ribbon Week, and the red ribbon has now become the symbol for a drug-free movement. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of Los Alamitos Unified School District does hereby support Red Ribbon campaign and recognizes October 21st, 2024 through October 25th, 2024 as Red Ribbon Week in the Los Alamitos Unified School Districts, and encourages its citizens to participate in drug awareness activities, making a visible statement that we all strongly commit to living a healthy life.
Okay, may I have a second? Second. This is a roll call.
Mr. Fayette? Mrs. Davidson? Aye. Ms. Cattouli?
Aye.
Mr. Forehand? Aye. Mrs. Hill?
Aye.
Great. Motion passes 5-0. We're now on to adoption of a resolution on board compensation for missed meeting. May I please have a motion? Okay. I'm going to speak to this, and if any of the board members want to speak to it, they can. According to Ed Code, a board member is paid when they attend a board meeting. And if, like, we have some months we have 2 meetings and some months we have 1 meeting. So if you were to miss 1 meeting in the month that has 2 meetings, you wouldn't get paid for the month, which isn't that much money anyway. And no one does it for that. But sometimes people's life gets in the way of coming to meetings. And then in order for them to be compensated for the meeting that they've missed, we have to have this resolution. And in Los Alamitos in particular, yes, we have been here since 4 o'clock the afternoon, and we will be getting out here sometime relatively soon because we're towards the end of the agenda. But that is like the most minor part of what we do as board members. It doesn't include all the reading that we do to keep on top of things. It doesn't include all of the things that we go to, the walkthroughs that we attend, the support we give our students and we give the rest of the staff. So the idea that you're not being a good board member unless, if you miss a meeting and, you should be sitting in the corner for a while, to me is personally ridiculous. So this is a roll call. Does anybody else have anything else they want to say? No. Okay. I'm off my little stool here and go on.
Do we have a motion?
Yes. Do we have a motion?
A motion and a second.
Yeah, that's
Great.
what I thought.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Fayette? Aye. Mrs. Davidson? Ms. Cattouli? Ms. Cattouli? Mr. Forehand? Aye. Mrs. Hill?
Aye.
Motion carries 4 ayes and 1 abstention. You'd vote for yourself if you were running for president. So. Yeah. Okay, now we have approval of a resolution to authorize signers for our CDC, which is part of our California State Preschool. And I can't read who's supposed to. Andrea, I'm sorry.
No
you were in
problem.
the steeple area.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Cattouli. We're bringing forth this annual resolution that authorizes signer for the state preschool agreement. This provides critical funding for our First Five and California State Preschool program that allows many low-income families to access a preschool program at little to no cost.
Okay, great. May I have a motion, please? Okay, and this is, any discussion? Okay, this is roll call.
Mr. Fayette? Aye. Mrs. Davidson? Aye. Ms. Cattouli?
Aye.
Mr. Forehand? Aye. Mrs. Hill?
Aye.
Okay, great. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, we're on to the approval to elect 3 members to serve on the Orange County Committee on School District Organization. I have in the past been on this committee, and it deals, when the census comes through, you're really busy those years because everybody's trying to change their boundaries. When I say everybody, every political entity, cities, counties, state, the nation, is breaking up and redistricting themselves to see who gets elected where. So that committee is busy during then because we have to look at the where the Orange County Department of Ed Board of Education, how their boundaries are. Other than that, this also meets when you have a portion of a school district or perhaps an entire school district that wants to annex with another school district. Then this is the body, the local body. After you've gone through the local bodies, this is the county body that you go to and give your presentations, and then render a decision, and then it goes up to the state. So that's what this committee is about. We need to elect 3 people. And I know some of the people, but I don't know all of them.
I'm with Mrs. Gattuli. I know Catherine Moffett and Francine, how do you pronounce her last name?
Cinto.
Cinto?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Both have been,
Okay, I know Kathleen Hurd, I know Kathy Moffett, I know Francine Cinto, and I know Susie Schwartz. Those
you win.
Well, I have 4. So I don't win. So what I would actually say is that I would, we could just support the incumbents. Okay, and I really hate doing this because I feel like I don't know everyone, and everyone is very qualified, very motivated. It's not except when they do the census, it's not a very demanding committee, but it's important to have people from school boards on it, because if you do annex school districts and you change it around, and you need to have someone who really understands the impact of that on there. So may I have a motion then to support the incumbents?
Sorry, I would request that you read the names of the 3 or 2 or 3 that you're recommending so we can have it for the record.
We are, after our discussion, I believe we're thinking of supporting Kathleen Hurd, Catherine Moffett, and Francine Cinto. And if that is an agreement, may I have a motion to support those people?
I so move.
Okay, we have any more discussion? You're frowning. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't ignoring you. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, I just always am uncomfortable about talking about choosing people in public when they're good people.
Yeah.
Susie Schwartz is, I like her a lot. She's a great leader and wonderful school board member. Anyway, so we've done that. Okay, we are on to, we have the acceptance of our donations before our warrants, so that's always a good thing. We live in such a generous community. It's unbelievable. We just had a speaker from the football boosters, and here's just a very, very long list of what people have been donating within the school districts. Some of them are from the PTAs. I don't know if there's any friends of groups and the boosters clubs, but it is just amazing. And I just really want to thank everyone who's listed here and everyone who worked, like with Weaver PTA. I know they didn't do that at one PTA meeting, $40,000, what they have done to support our schools. And that was $54,576.89, which is amazing. And we're only in October, and our total year to date is $108,282. Thank you. That's all we can say. Yeah. So I need a motion to accept this.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes.
Just another quick shout out. The money we get from the state, we are one of the 2 or 3 lowest funded in Orange County, but we consistently rank in the top. And it's because of our community and the generosity that they have.
Yeah. Thank you. Well said. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. Now we're on to our approval of warrants. Our warrants are basically our checkbook, and if we have any questions, we send them in and then they answer us. And Diana and I are bean counters because how many, was it 51?
52.
52 pages of warrants. They're just so delightful to read. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay, any discussion? I just want to say that board members do their homework and we send in questions and sometimes it's like, why do we have this and who is this person? And for the past 24 years I've been on the board, I have sent in 2,400 warrant questions probably, and I have never had one answered that really gave me pause, where I thought, do I need to pursue this? Do I need to ask more questions about this? Or I don't. I have had ones where I don't understand it, and that I've gotten more information. So I just really want to thank Mrs. Schnur, who has followed in the footsteps of other people and having a very clean books and doing everything for the kids. So thank you. All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. Now we're on to our certificated and classified personnel reports. Dr. Reese-Wright.
Thank you, Madam President. The certificated and classified personnel reports reflect the update since our last meeting, and we recommend approval as submitted.
May I have we can take them together. May I have a motion?
Second.
Okay, that's a motion to accept the classified and certificated at the same time. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And now we're on to the worst part of the whole meeting. This is an agreement and stipulation to a suspended student expulsion. And Mrs. Davidson, will you please read that?
Motion to approve agreement and stipulation to a suspended student expulsion waiver of hearing and appeal rights. It is moved that the agreement and stipulation to a suspended student expulsion waiver of hearing and appeal rights be approved for violation of the following education codes: 48915A, IC, or ALC.
Okay, may I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Sorry.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And we are now at the end of our meeting. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And we are now adjourned.